Alright, here's CEB 3 in the field. We had to make some adjustments. So this is using the prototype 3 layout, I believe, where we have these V-groove bearings in here. There's a lot of space on the sides, so they're pretty much there to keep the drawer floating. But what happens is under pressure, the system can kick to the side a little bit, and when the drawer does that enough times, it can jump off the bearings. And when it does that, then it binds and breaks bearings and bends steel, and it just gets generally nasty. So we had that happen, and we bent the rails that were up in, not the rails on the drawer, but the guide rails for the bearings, 2 of them. So we replaced those, and because we don't have a lot of spare, we decided to be proactive and prevent the drawer from being able to kick to the side at all. So we put in a couple things. One, here's your drawer cylinder, and we have placed in, I basically just took some square tubing, cut it in half, and then welded some tube on it, used a piece of all thread that would sit inside that tube, put some nuts here so we have pressure for the support arms to keep it in place, and then welded a nut on the end of the all thread so we could tighten it ×2. So we have the main cylinder centered from left to right best we can. Second arm of defense here was put in another set of all threads through the side that actually touch the side of the drawer itself. There's a little bit of a gap on each side, which is intentional. It's strictly there to prevent it from kicking to the side. So that helps keep it centered. And then the last line is here. And you can kind of see it there. ×2. So 3 points of keeping this assembly centered. It seems to be working pretty well. We ran it a fair amount last night and produced quite a few blocks. Right now we're just throwing them on the ground because we're just trying to make sure everything works. I have found that this machine is not exactly square anymore. We had it square before we brought it out, but maybe just the act of dragging it, twisting it, hauling it, setting it down, picking it up, all that kind of stuff probably is what pulled it out of square. The blocks themselves that are being produced, they're pretty square, but they are not perfect. So it's not exactly, I don't know if it's acceptable at this point or not. They seem to be maybe about 1/8 of an inch variance. We have Chris out here who's designing the house, and he's going to take a look at the blocks. Other than that, the blocks are great. The machine is working good. It's pumping them out rather quickly. The control mechanisms we have in place are good. Everything is working pretty fantastic, all things given. The only issue outside of the not perfectly square blocks is we have a time issue on the main cylinder still, where when it retracts as it's bringing in material for the next press, it is bottoming out too long. It should just kind of hit bottom and stop and then go back up, but it's kind of sitting there for about 2 or 3 seconds, which bogs the system. So we're just waiting for Zach to get us a bit of information so we can try and correct that. But the shaker's working. Everything else is working. I'm pretty satisfied. And then the life track with the pulverizer unit, we got give a big thanks to Lucas. He stayed up burning the midnight oil the other night to get this assembly working. There was some issues, just years of use. So he got this assembly set up, working good. Ran the plumbing and put in a new center auxiliary that runs on a separate power cube for now, and that seems to be working good. And then he fixed the life track quick attach here, It was broken on this side and out of alignment, and he basically just cut it all down and redid it. If you can see that. There we go. So yes, big thanks to Jonathan Miller and Lucas for all their hard work helping me out and get this stuff going. It's been really good.